directed it themselves. Why?
They did. What was that? Oh God, what was that method that David Bowie did an album with, where he wrote lyrics and then he ripped the page in half and he took the separate ones? There was a name for that or something like that. Maybe that was it. Maybe that's what happened.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird divining kind of a magical process.
Yeah, and well, David Bowie made it work, kind of. So there you go. Because he's David. I wish David Bowie's still alive. I do. Yeah. What do you think of the people that are upset at us for being upset at the ending? And what was the whole point of John being brought back? Love you guys, by the way. Krazia, Canado. Am I saying that right? Krazia, we love you too. And
yes.
What do I think? If people want to be upset at us for not liking a show that they like, it's not really healthy. You don't want to give us that much rent in your head. You want to just don't worry about it. I mean, if you like what you like, don't. I can't affect Doomcock and I, as much as we'd love to think this, cannot affect how you like something or not. Period. That is entirely up to you. You have the power. Peter version 1, $4.99. Not sure if you were asked, was it funny that Sam was laughed at for suggesting democracy? That was kind of funny, actually. Oh, by the way, did everybody see Howlin' Reed? I'm pretty sure that was Howlin' Reed. That was sitting in between Sam and Ed Muir. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was Howlin' Reed. We finally saw Howlin' Reed. We saw the Prince of Dorne, who looked like he was wearing a wig.
Yeah, he looked like he had old Prince Oberus cast-offs, you know, like they didn't really fit that well. It was just a throwaway character in a throwaway scene. God, I wasn't observing any of these people. I didn't care. I was so bored at this point. I was actually tweeting, which I never do. I just tweet during a show, except Star Trek Discovery or Game of Thrones, because they're just so wretched. I seek the escape of communion with my fellow geeks on Twitter. But God damn it, that was so boring.
It really was. I just don't buy Grey Worm not doing a thing about Danny's being killed. It's so dumb. He used to be the kind of guy who would die for such a thing. He would die for her. She is a god to him, a god. So with the Dothraki would have killed everybody. They would have gone, oh, the person who told us not to R to the A to the P to the E anymore. I guess what I'm going to do. That would have never. What are the Dothraki? Oh, they were walking on the shipyard while John was being taken to the Night Watch. Just Dothraki. Yeah. After it. I mean, people. This was stupid.
Dude, stupid. Once again, at least they are consistent and they do not show us any of the interesting scenes that would be difficult, perplexing, and challenging. So we don't actually see how the troops find out that she's dead. We don't see what they do to Jon Snow. We don't see them grieve. We don't see them riot. It just cuts to Tyrion waking up, and it's spring, and they trot him out to this council of nobodies to talk about nothing and make Bran the Fiber King. It's just fucking ridiculous, dude.
Fiber King, that's going to stay.
Fiber King.
That's great.
We don't see any of the interesting evolutions or introductions or consequences. They're all over. Everybody knows she's dead. We don't get to see how they react or anything. That's what they've done time and time again on this show, cutting away from Aegon Targaryen telling Sansa and Arya who he really is.
Don't remind me. There's so many.
They don't show us anything. They've got to make time for Tyrion moving the fucking chairs, so we cannot actually have any of that shit they call, drama.
2 years they took to make this. 2 effing years. Bird of Prey 5. Good to see you, my friend. $2. From now on, I am Bird the Broken. You are. You are, but not to me, Berto Preo. Berto Prey 5 is a cool YouTuber. Unfortunately, he's got some health problems, so he's in bed a lot. But he live streams and he tries to make the best out of it. He's got a great attitude. He's funny. I don't know. Last time I heard you said you didn't like it. Did you like the Orville or you didn't like the Orville? But it's okay. I still love you, man. Luis Manuel Vasquez Arias Schreiber. Okay, wait. Luis Manuel Vasquez Arias Schreiber. Something PEN 1690. I just don't buy. Oh, I already read that one, but thank you. Hurricane Irma 499. All of this could have been explained with more episodes. Can we confirm that they cut season to start on Star Wars? They are writing it already. I am working on a story that will tell the story of what happened. I will can't there's an answer. I gotta wait till tomorrow to talk to the person to get all the details. But I will share them with you, sure, because I think fans got a right to know. And it really, I mean, it's not going to change anything. It's just going to go, here's the reason why. And sometimes that's enough for people. I think if, Hollywood doesn't need to tell us these things, but we're going to ask, and, you deserve answers. But it's going to be, my guess is it has to do with money and ego. Kylie Jones, $5. Horrible ending. I no longer have any interest in any of the spin-offs. I want to hear more of that or the prequels. If it weren't for this channel, you would have, if it weren't for this channel, would you have any interest in the spin-offs? Asked Kylie. No. Zero.
No.
Wouldn't touch it.
Not interested in the slightest.
And honestly, I there's a million other things I could be doing than sitting around watching TV. I love doing it for the channel. And there is, when I see something good, I want to share it with everybody and I want to watch it over and over again. And that's what I do. But when something wastes my time this much and it's so egregious, it is so obvious that the creators of the show just wanted to bail and they didn't really give two shits what they gave their fans who were so loyal and made them so fucking rich and famous beyond their wildest dreams. And they just disrespected everybody. And guess what? They got their money, they're paid, and they don't give two craps about you or your time. They don't even take it seriously. And they're going to listen, our clapback is going to be, why are you taking it so seriously? Because I care about my time. And the only person who's going to give a shit about my time is me. So your time matters. And if they waste it with zero effort, again, if you saw that they really tried their hardest, they gave us 10 episodes in season 7 and 8, and it just didn't stick the landing. You could tell this was a hack job. Like, we don't care. And you know who did care? The actors, the people who made the costumes, the set designers, the special effects guys, and they probably relied too heavily on them without giving them direction or whatever, because they all came to work. They all came to play. This all falls down on Dan and Dave and George R. R. Martin.
Yep, 100%. And it's not the actor's fault. And you can see how stricken they are on their faces, in their performances. I think that they're actually grieving on screen. I think we can actually see their Kubler-Ross acceptance of death on screen as they realize that this was all for nothing and that they're having to play the desecration of their own characters, essentially.
Man, I'd be pissed.
Yeah.
I was wondering if I'm the kind of person who would walk. I'd quit. I wouldn't fight it out.
Try, but then you'd have your contract and they'd come after you with lawyers and shit. And oh man, it'd be ugly.
The actors have done it before, crap. Michael Keaton could have been in Batman Forever. Saw that script and went, nope, late. Supreme Overlords SJW, $5. Gary, The Witcher was not a game first. It was a books first? Okay. The books came many years before. Most of the Witcher books were originally released in Poland in the 90s. Why did I think it was a game first? Yeah. Thanks. Cool. It's the reader of the audiobook that I'm going to have to read the books. I'm not going to have to. Usually I listen to them at the gym or something like that, but I don't like the reader of the audiobook for some reason. Fire Breathing Mama. I bet you are. $5. Now I know why Brand did something since did nothing since episode 3, just waiting for everything to play itself out. Shake my head. That's how they explained it. Everything had to happen precisely the way it did, and it was stupid.
Because Brand's a power mad dictator who doesn't give a shit about who lives or dies. I mean, is that basically the implication?
I mean, I guess we have to go in the assumption. Why is Bran such a great king? Maybe because he has nobody said that. You'd be a perfect king because you don't want it. Nobody came out and said that. Like, that would have been a better explanation than you tell us stories. Which is George. I know that one's George. Nicholas Glenn, $1.99. So it was Arya Stark that first found America. It was.
Yep. Christine Columbus.
So she's gonna go and make sure the indigenous people all get slaughtered. That's
right.
Great. So this is how one of the biggest shows in TV history ends. Like Luke just disappearing into nothing beneath the sunset. I don't even watch Game of Thrones, and I understand why it's compatible to The Last Jedi. Makini 90, it is now. What Last Jedi did damage to an ages-old franchise. Damned, you can't repair the damage that it did. So it is worse still. But I was kind of checked out on Star Wars anyway. This one hurts. I was full on into Game of Thrones, like just completely stupidly in. And yeah, now I'm not gonna like we've said before. It's better to love and lost. You know, I'm not gonna like not get into a show again. If I do, I do, and this could happen. You know, it's not like one bad breakup you never date again. I mean,
right.
You know, it's just a breakup.
I mean, you can't. You got to love again. You got to keep open, especially if you're a critic. And we're doing stuff on YouTube, and we always go into these things with optimism. But then when they betray us, we are very quick to see the signs. Yeah. After episode 3, I said Game of Thrones is dead to me. I knew there was no coming back from this, and I knew that it was the underlying attitude that produced episode 3 that would make sure that the rest of the series stunk. And I was absolutely correct. So from that point on, I was feeling decreasing levels of pain simply because I had already truly given up on it. And people thought that meant, oh, I'm not going to watch it anymore. Well, geez, there's only 3 more episodes left. So, of course, I'm going to finish it out, but I will never binge this. I will never watch a single episode again. I don't give a goddamn about it. I don't care about the world. I'm not interested in the prequels except to review. Yep. I guess we'll have to do that, but otherwise I wouldn't give it a second thought.
Yep. I mean, we'll continue bringing news on the prequels, talking about the prequels, and if the books come out, and on my other channel, Nerdrotic Live, I will if Wins a Winner comes out, I'll review every chapter on that channel for sure, no problem. That would be my pleasure. Okay, Suited for Gaming, $100. Thank you very much for the very generous donation there, dude. If you want me to plug anything, I mean, come on. Let me know. You could just put it in the chat. Don't give me another super chat. That's fine. They flushed this show down the toilet. I'm speechless at how they ruined the best show of all time. Totally agree. Been watching you since the season started, and I'm glad you are speaking your minds. Keep up the great work. Suited for Gaming, thank you. We love hearing that.
Thank you, man. Yeah, really, it means a lot. I'm just glad that I was here. We had no idea that it was going to go south like this. We were just we just figured we'd get together after each episode and chat for about 20 minutes, 25 minutes about it, and then do Exozone, and that's it. And it just turned into something that was much more of a grieving process and a kind of a counseling session than we had ever anticipated.
Yeah, and no, I never saw this coming. I didn't. No. I didn't think it would get this bad. I'm shocked. I'm still shocked. It's been 3 weeks of shock because it gets worse every time, and this was even worse because it was boring.
Yeah.
And it's, oh my God.
Just acutely aware of the passage of time and the disappointment of your dreams and the betrayal of this narrative. It's just, well, you don't have a whole lot to think about when nothing is going on, except how disappointed you are and how slowly it's moving. And it's just like torture.
It really was. It really was. Okay. Bear. You have been knighted. You are a knight of the Nerdrotic Kingdom. Matthew Matson, Chris Persia, Mark Lazurth, Artemis Over Easy. I don't know if Pen's in here, Pen Farm Girl. I just want to give a shout out to my moderators who are incredibly busy, and I'm sorry I haven't given you the proper thanks. You're all on my Christmas list, you know that, and I just want a big round of applause for great moderators. Great moderators. Thank you so much. Working hard. Google Trends, subverting expectation, 5-year chart. Hilarious. Oh, I'm going to have to look at that. Rugby for life. That's fun. Aria Isira for £2. Try Outlander, 18th century Scotland plus time travel. I have watched Outlander. And it's the quality of it's good. Ronald D. Moore is a great writer. It's just not a show for me. And the books it was based on are God, I'm blanking on the words that go. The thing it's from Doctor Who, basically. So the second Doctor had a companion named Jamie. So Jamie is based on a Doctor Who character. It inspired Outlander. And Ronald D. Moore from Battlestar Galactica writes it, but it's kind of Harlequin romancy kind of stuff.
Right.
But
Bodice Ripper.
Yeah. Just not for me, but not saying it's bad. Polly Pipes, $5. D&D profited from Arya killing the Night King because girl power with Hollywood today. Love Arya, but should have killed Cersei. John for Night King at the end, better ending. It is. The reason they picked Arya was girl power. And now that we've seen the entire show, I can say that quite easily. They needed to give her something to do because at the end she probably doesn't do much or dies early in the books, and they wanted to stretch her story out. So they had to give her something. So they gave her the Night King. Plus, I've already laid out the symbolism. All right. I've already laid out the symbolism for that. And that's why that was a factor in the decision. Plus, she's a very popular character. But to say that that the current environment in Hollywood had zero to do with that decision would not be true. I'm not saying it's the entire decision, but no one decision is made over one thing. Not everything's black and white. So yeah, and Sansa getting the North, I suspect. But like the book series was about this stuff anyway. They never needed to crank this stuff up, in my opinion, because they were heading towards this anyway. That's what it was supposed to be, a Tolkien story with girls. I mean, that's it. That was your subversion of they didn't need to continue subverting. It's dumb. And especially when you're not to do that kind of stuff. And you know, this is somebody who writes, you gotta be smart. You gotta be really smart. There's good writers and there's smart writers and there's smart, good writers. And to write fantasy, you got to be on another level, like IQ wise, and and listen, George.
Yeah, you've got to keep track of what you're doing, and you've got to really lay down those threads. You've got to lay down those narrative threads, make sure that they don't like bunch up into a ball of yarn, that they actually weave into a coherent tapestry. And that means you've got to also not contradict your own characters, and you've got to not violate the laws you've set down for your world. And when you do that, when you go ahead and have people fast traveling between Dragonstone in the north and between the north, Winterfell and King's Landing at the drop of a hat, it just tends to betray the epic qualities that you've laid down in your world. The fact that there's these vast distances, the travel is hard, and it really on a subconscious level, if not a conscious level, undermines your faith in the actuality of what you're seeing. It just becomes not even a convenient fiction. It just becomes garbage. It just degenerates into gibberish.
And that's what this episode was boring gibberish, very slow. I mean, God, I knew when I read the spoilers, I'm like, nothing happens. There's no battles. There's no skirmishes. There's nothing. And again, they tried to muddy the waters with fake spoilers, but the original ones were correct. And it just looked boring. And it was. When I saw people starting to walk slow, I'm like, oh my God, it's Blade Runner 2049 again. People walking up the doorways slowly. It's really pretty looking. I mean, it looks great.
Yeah.
And after those first few scenes, we never saw like a burned up person. And there was just like, yeah, you burned up the people. And oh, hey, they brought up John died. They brought up that John died. Again. just so Tyrion can ask what was going on. Jon said, "Nothing. I'm worried about McQueen."
Yeah.
I don't want it, McQueen. Amazon Prime is doing a Wheel of Time. Any bets on how bad they will F that series up? For OBG70, $5. Doomcock, have you read A Wheel of Time?
No, I have not, so I don't really have
either.
an opinion on that.
I've tried. I'm gonna dive in. I got to do it. So many people have asked, and especially since they're doing a show, and I love to read the books before shows come out. God, I hope not. The one thing I'll say, OBG70, until Amazon proves me wrong, which they could very soon. They've done pretty damn good with their adaptation. Plus, you would think that the big company that got its name or got its money from being a bookshop, basically, like they need to be the ones that need to be faithful to the books.
Yeah.
It's like your local library, that's $1 billion company, is deciding to produce films. It's like they need to be spot on. It needs to be Masterpiece Theater. Plus, he's got more money than all the gods.
Yeah, I'm very excited about them. I think that they're going to do a good job. Fingers crossed. Whatever they do. Although they picked up Star Trek Picard for the international rights, so that's a black eye for them.
It is, but it's like picking it. It's not like they paid for it. I mean, they paid a licensing fee, but it's not like what Netflix funded the show as an original.
Right.
Amazon Prime is just carrying it like they would like they used to carry The Expanse. They just basically carry it. They don't really produce it, or I mean, it's good money, but it's not anything like what Netflix is doing because Netflix rejected Picard.
Right?
Do you believe that?
They did. They said no, none of this shit, and they walked away. And they're trying to spin that as a triumph. Oh, we got picked up by Amazon Prime internationally. And it's like at a fraction of what they were going to pay you. And now you are so cash strapped that you were essentially basically just breaking out the green screens and figuring you'll figure out what the sets are later. It's from what I hear anyway. It's a rumor.
And it's a rumor. And it airs the next day. It doesn't air same day too. So it's just like, it's basically like Hulu at this point. Someone write like George R.R. Martin, Joe Abercrombie, First Law. Oh, Jack Random, I'll check that out. William Joseph Dietrich for $20. This postmodernist subversion is nothing short of an attack on our civilization, and I kind of agree with that. What has been done to Game of Thrones and Luke Skywalker are pure acts of evil. Do not play. It is trying to rewrite our history and our mythology. Doomcock has been saying it since day one on his channel, and really, the Fandom Menace is a loose group of allied YouTubers that we all have one goal of wanting to make entertainment better. We want things pulled back into the center. But Doomcock did kind of a manifesto, or not a manifesto, a mission statement on canon. Watch that video. It's everything. I mean, that's. You know how some companies have a mission statement on a wall? That's our mission statement right there. And yeah, to go check it out, search it on his channel. He talks about the rules of canon. And I 100% agree. Please help spread. Oh, you're welcome. I loved it. Please help spread the petition. It won't lead to a remake, but it will at least show Dumb and Dumber what we think of this pile of crap. Lunas, yes, please sign the petition. If one of my mods can pop the link in, that'd be great. Thank you for 100 Swedish crowns. Also, if you really want to make a difference, unsubscribe from HBO. That's the only way that's 10 times better than if they get 1 million people unsubscribing tomorrow, they might actually think about a remake. They might think about adding an episode, or I don't know, or saying they're sorry.
Right. They would say they're sorry. That's about it. But still, that'd be something. I mean, at least that'd be some kind of show of respect, because honest to God, episode 3 was blatantly disrespectful to all of us. It was a gob of spit in our fucking eye after we had waited for so long, not only to give us just one battle for the Night King, but to make it basically indecipherable garbage. Badly directed, badly lighted, edited like somebody just dumped a whole bunch of shots in a fucking Cuisinart and spat it out on the flatbed. It was a goddamn disgrace. It was incoherent trash, and we deserve better than that. I am still fucking furious about that shit.
I wonder what I am too, and I wonder what number of people unsubbing would like hurt. Would they notice? Would they go, "Oh shit"? Because right now,
I would think even 50,000. I mean, think about it: 100,000, 200,000. That it would be. They would be like, "Oh, Jesus Christ!" The problem is, will they interpret it correctly? Will they see? If everybody unsubscribes, will they say, "Oh, well, it was only Game of Thrones and the wonderfulness of it that was keeping people on," or will it be that people unsubbed because of protest?
if there's a little note you can put in when you unsubscribe,
yeah, definitely do that. They'll ask you actually.
Yeah, I mean, like whatever hashtag you want to put in there to just tell them, yeah, I'm not just dissatisfied. Something, I don't know. I'm not good at thinking up a hashtags, but something, or not even a hashtag, just a statement saying I unsubbed because it sucked. Game of Thrones sucked, or
you
sucked.
Felt betrayed. You felt betrayed by the lack of quality of Game of Thrones in its final stretch, and you do not want to support any network that would allow those creatives to be so slipshod and disrespectful to the audience.
Yep. And for anybody who's going to clap back at Doomcock and I or this video for the creative content within the show and subverting expectations, I'm going to very respectfully say, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. I know how this show would have ended. It was poorly executed. So, yeah, like we're going to hear it tomorrow back probably from the Access Media. Like, oh, the fans didn't get specifically what they wanted. So the fans are mad and the fans are the bad people. Access Media, I want you to subvert everybody's expectation and not write an article attacking the fans. Dan and Dave wrote this crap. Go get them. You want to earn some respect back? I mean, you got a long way to go. But yeah, just don't. Because like any person who does that, I'm going to probably make a video on it and call you out personally as a writer, because that shit needs to stop. Fans are fans. We're always going to be fans. We air our stuff out here. It's great. We find each other and we move about our day. But, you know, you don't help anything. You don't make anything better by not saying anything. Nothing gets better that way. Nothing changes.
And when did it become toxic for consumers to complain about defective products? I mean, ultimately, Game of Thrones is a product that we are paying for. And when we get a defective product, we have the right to complain about it. The customer is supposed to be always right. We're the fucking customers. Yep. Just because you fancy yourselves as artists out there does not mean that you have no responsibilities to your audience, who are ultimately, audience is a synonym for customer. God damn it.
Yep.
We paid for this shit and we are deserving of what we paid for was not, God damn it, after 8 years to even have one episode with the Night King where he dies and we couldn't see it because it was so incompetent. It was so incompetently done. If it had been competent, if I could have seen what was going on, and it had been like at least with a modicum of respect, then my objections would have been significantly less vociferous. Yes, I would have had a problem with Arya stabbing the Night King because she had nothing to do with the Night King. Did she even know who the fucking Night King was? She was pissing all over the rest of Westeros. She never heard about the Night King. So how the fuck she just got lucky and stabbed the right guy? How did she know to stab him? How did she not stab one of his lieutenants? It's just so fucking stupid. But at least I would have felt that the filmmakers made an honest mistake in doing it, like a miscalculation, maybe. But the fact that it looked like it did, and it was so sloppy and so stupid, top to bottom, with sacrificing the Dothraki in a military maneuver that they would have never had. Never. It makes no sense in military history. Nothing about that thing made any goddamn sense. And so if they had just paid us the respect to at least buy some lights for the fucking thing and shoot some wide angles and actually put some thought into the direction, I would not be as fucking furious as I am. I would still be angry. But that's why it was dead to me, was the lack of respect.
Yep.
That was it.
Couldn't see anything except for a coffee cup. You could see that
in episode 4, but we couldn't even see that in episode 3. It would have been a blur, dude.
Exactly. And so things go wrong. Sometimes, you put
Yeah.
the perfect team together and they go out and crap the bed. And I'm sure that factored in. But the biggest crime, I will repeat again, was not taking the time, not giving the fans what they deserve. They deserve more episodes. Dan and Dave, you should have stayed. You would have gotten a lot more jobs if you just hung in a couple more years. You would have been
Finish the
employed for
fucking
life.
job. Yeah.
Now I want you're going to have a lot of time to think. A lot of time to think of your besmirched reputation, and you'll still get some leftover work because people will look at the bottom line and the numbers. But listen, and maybe George got a little. He's human. Maybe he got jealous that they were taking so much credit off of his work. I don't know.
Well, I did that video, the case against George R.R. Martin, where I laid out all of that stuff, and I just hypothesized that he may have consented to do the show because Dan and Dave had never produced anything before. They were neophytes, and so he's like, haha, these idiots are going to come and they're going to try and make this thing successful on television. I'm going to let them, and I'm going to take their money, but they're going to fail, and I'm going to laugh, and I will be proven right in my conviction that I have written a narrative that could not be filmed. But then they succeeded. And then they succeeded again and again, and they started to become synonymous with Game of Thrones, and it had their created title on it. And he may have, in his heart, started to feel resentful that they had succeeded, that they had actually become partly adopted parents of that child of his. And, he may have started to try and undermine them. He may have even given them the wrong plot,
Weirder things have happened. Okay. I'm not saying, you're not saying it's, and I think he might have, he responded to a couple of, hang on a second. I was just checking here. All right. He responded to a couple of things that articles that seemed like a response to yours. I don't know if you read as not a blog, but I recommend you do it.
Oh, really? You think he might have responded to me?
Yeah. Because he definitely responded to something I put in a video. Well, he was given bad information. I don't think he watched it or anything like that. It's not important. But all right, let's get through some super chats here. Listen, if I cannot, okay, we might be able to finish tonight. If not, I'm definitely going to square up. I'm going to go live tomorrow at noon for the Nerdrotic Nooner usually, and I can square up there. But I will do my very best to get this done. But I can't go for much longer. KZ Bay, $2. Finally, no more white spray paint used as snow. That's true. Yeah, they use some snow. Felipe Abrigo, 2,500 CLPs. I kind of liked it, maybe because my expectations were really, really low. If this episode was built up to, no, I still wouldn't like it. It was boring. It was really boring. Stephen Wackel, Australian $5. Thought Bran may do something this season and warg into a dragon to find out where he is. Nope. All hail Cripple King. Yep. And yeah, subverted expectations will be used again, and that is used as an excuse. It's used as a cop-out. It's used to save money. I'll say again, the biggest factors in this were Star Wars ruined Game of Thrones. It did. Mm-hmm. That deal effed the show, and HBO getting cheap. Its parent company getting cheap for whatever. They were in the middle of a buyout, and maybe that had something to do with it. Short-minded, short-sighted, stupid reasons, and they're going to pay the price. This is the legacy. I mean, you
really think they were cheap in it? That HBO went cheap on the budget?
They said it was too much money and too hard to pet Ghost, and they figured they did it once in the season. Why do it twice? It's little details that used to make the show special.
Yeah,
little things like Ned Stark taking time to read a book and getting into the investigation of, listen, Gendry's identity that caused so much shit had a better payoff, with all the little bastard babies being killed and stuff. They used to really set things up. I was talking to Mueller about this. The Boltons, we had 3 seasons to build them up as a villain. Ramsay was a fleshed out, horrid villain. And then Unfortunately, Roos ended up living past season 5, and they killed him horribly. And just that's when you could see the signs. I liked season 6, I did, but how they killed Rickon and Shaggy Dog, Drogon melted the throne so they could make it handicap accessible. Said ADK2 audio $5. Brett Combrel $1.99. So pissed. Why would you not recommend the books? The reason I would not recommend the books, because I don't think they're going to be finished. It's not that they're not good, Brett. I love them. I think they're great. I've read them multiple times. Go ahead. I mean, I can recommend the books if you're okay with them not being finished.
I cannot. I would not be okay with it at all. But
so that's entirely up to you. But as far as the books that exist, they're great. They're great. There's just a very, very good chance he will not finish the series. I think we're going to get Wins a Winner. I do. I think we'll get it. But I don't think we're getting a Dream of Spring. I think that's a dream. 8 seasons and not a single tear. I cry in Kleenex ads. I don't know words. They done effed it up. How disappointing. MT, they really did. Thank you for the Australian $7.99. ADK2 audio $5. Benioff, Drogon melted the throne so they could make a handicap accessible. Oh, that is terrible. We should not be laughing at stuff like that. Sorry. Messaging Mrs. Nerdrotic. Jolton Burrow. Hail, Gary. Hail, Doomcock. You missed my super chat. I'm doing them kind of out of order here. I'm kind of doing a spread. Or I haven't got there yet. That's probably
possible.
Which is very possible because there is a lot. Tim J, thank you for the 99-cent donation. History Bard, thank you for the $1 donation. Elliot Nelson, this is like Lost all over again. God, at least I can look forward to the Inquisition. Hey, yes.
Yes.
You want to plug that one more time?
Yes, we are basically going to keep the team going. You know, we're going to go ahead and every Sunday night, we are going to address the pop issues of the previous week, all of them. We are going to touch on all of them and basically kind of encapsulate the week in pop culture and put certain things to the task, you know. And we'll put Star Trek Picard to the rack and see, is it a show or a sham? Various and sundry issues of the day will be addressed by the Inquisition. Nobody expects the Inquisition. And yet we arrive every Sunday at around this time, around 9 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock.
Yeah, 7 or 6, whenever we decide. I mean, we'll have more things concrete soon, and it's going to be lots of fun. It's going to be lots of fun. I look forward to it. I think it's the best idea ever. And I hope you guys like it too. This was whack as F. Felt like a filler episode instead of the finale. Back to League of Legends. 80K2 audio, $8. Thank you so much. Have fun playing League of Legends. My son used to love that game. I think he still does. Oh, you sent a super chat accidentally twice. Okay, that will go into my super chat video that I'm going to do for season 8 roundup. Anybody who accidentally put it in twice gets an automatic in on that video. Why the hell was it snowing in King's Landing but melting up north? Did D&D forget they killed off the Night King and winter was over?
Yes. Yeah, it was spring. It was spring up there, dude. The sun was shining. They were walking into the sunlight. It was wonderful up there.
Oh, and also the reason the seasons were longer. Why? You think they would answer a question like that? Why seasons last years? And because that means your planet doesn't rotate correctly, or it's slow, or there's something supernatural going on, which is what's happening. And yeah,
either that or they're in like an elliptical orbit. I believe was the idea that George R.R. Martin said at one point, that it's an elliptical orbit. So when it's at the far end, it's going to be it's like a long oval, maybe.
It's not so it's like, okay. There was also
which is weird.
Anna
That
said
doesn't really make
something
sense.
about it going around, like doing a figure 8 around 2 stars, but it can't really do that. So yeah, there's got to be a reason for it, and he plans on answering it. And I thought that would be interesting. And the seasons weren't always that long, so I wonder if they're going to talk about, well, in the prequel that, yeah,
could be magic. Could be magic.
Hey, the children of the forest broke the arm of Dorne. There used to be a land bridge from Westeros to the Andals, where the Andals land. They broke that, supposedly. The legends say. Blasted Heath, $5. Worse than Lost, Smallville, and Dexter finales combined. Yeah, the Smallville, it's worse than True Blood, which had a freaking horrible ending. And Smallville's ending was a kick in the nuts to the fans. We got to see the 1-inch Superman. We got to see the Atom. I don't have words to describe how terrible this was. M153R underline V. That's supposed to be Mr. V. Mr. V. Loquacious Primate, $10. You probably find me too forgiving, but I think this may have worked as half a decent final episode. Had there been 1 to 2 seasons showing Danny descending into madness and battling against the dead. No, I totally agree with that. I think the acts, not what led up to him, not the acting in it, but the actions of Jon killing Daenerys, Bran becoming king, Arya becoming Popeye, like you said. If you build up to this and show me something before that, totally. Sansa becoming Slay Queen. And like the wheel didn't get broken. The only thing they changed was the King's Council will decide who the king is, and that will last exactly 1 king. And the king becomes king and says, "I decree that my family is now and F you in your council." And most people will go, "Okay, whatever," because they don't, just like they did for this council.
Yeah. Pretty much. And I mean, the only one that Bran's going to be able to reproduce with is Nephiliac, because basically it's like screwing a dead person to sleep with Bran. He's so disinterested. I mean, he's just staring off in his face, as you're like working on him. It's like, "Are you hard yet, baby?" It's like, "I see stars." It'll be like, forget it.
I like it.
Yeah.
Hey, Gary, I just got in. Missed everything. Is it as bad as foretold? Can already see from my Reddit that it looks to be. Yeah, it's terrible. Reddit's on fire. It's great. Everybody's live streaming about it. Thank you for choosing us, by the way. We've had a pretty damn big crowd all night, so that is fantastic, and we'd love to see you again. Are Spaniards allowed in the Inquisition? Yes, Victor Jeckert. We actually we're a very inclusive Inquisition.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes,
100%.
Oh yeah, we want to administer punishment to all the races, sexes, and genders. No discrimination at all. Big Vig 316, $2. Did someone say Spanish Inquisition? Nobody expects.
Nobody.
That's what North American Vikinger says for $2. Did someone say Spanish Inquisition? Says Big Vig 316. TK. What I'll miss most about Game of Thrones season 8, these after show streams with much more entertainment than D&D's Horde of Writing. Well, guess what, TK? You probably gave that right before our announcement. We'll still be here. We're not. Oh, go on.
No, go ahead. I was just, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm just, yes, we are absolutely going to be here, dude, and together and fighting the good fight to save pop culture and summarizing the week's events on Sunday nights.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we're going to keep it going. So Frank, Canadian, $20. Hey, you ask and you shall receive. I just launched my epic fantasy novel on Indiegogo called Epochs of Eternity. It is set 1,000 years after the apocalypse and was inspired by Graham Hancock. Oh, please check it out if you like expectations verted. Frank, yeah, I'll check it out. Indiegogo, Epochs of Eternity. Please check it out. I am honestly going to check that out. I love the idea of like a fantasy world rising from like an advanced civilization, and they find some of that stuff. That'd be very interesting. God dang.
Yeah, definitely. Graham Hancock's fantastic.
Yep. And he's got a new book out. What a trash ending. What was the point of John being a Targaryen? Please discuss, says History Beard for $5. The point was McQueen.
Yeah, basically, and also so that he could go up north and pet Ghost, because I think otherwise the dragon might have actually fried him. I think the reason that the dragon didn't fry him is because he knew that he wouldn't burn, essentially. So he vented at the throne instead. I mean, that was kind of what I was thinking. I mean, like if he had breathed fire on John, maybe John would have just been standing there naked, but still standing.
But that's an assumption. I assumed that I wasn't sure. I was kind of going between that and plot armor. Because they wanted John to suffer. So the bittersweet is John gets to live, but he's back at the Night Watch. He gets to father. No, I mean, it's just like, you know what? If he'd have done something, I'd have been okay with that ending. And if you tell me that him killing Daenerys at the end and crying about it was him doing something, so that's why you kept him from killing the Night King. You want to give Arya that moment so you could make the man cry and then kill a woman, and then, you know, which is, again, I can see that as an ending, but he didn't do anything. See, if he did something this season, I'd be okay with that, but he didn't do anything.
Yeah, it's not really much of a fate, is it? I mean, you know, defeating the forces of the dead is a reason that the Lord of Light would bring him back. But just to stab Daenerys, that's not really much of a reason to come back from the fucking dead.
Tyrion's the hand of the king. You send him. Sansa's the queen of the north, where the Night's Watch is. The 6 realms have no say over that anymore. Just let him be free. Send him out to Pentos. Give him a bunch of money. Like go travel the world. I mean, you know, whatever. So dumb. Ned Stark rolled in his grave 3 episodes ago. Think about it. H347H. Did you know that the one person that came out of the crypt was Meister Lewin? That was Meister Lewin who came out.
Interesting.
Bryce Brierly, $5. How long before we see an article on the Mary Sue complaining about Danny got fridged? It's. I'm going to check right now. I'm pretty sure it was written beforehand because the
already up, huh?
There was so many people writing articles like they hadn't read the spoilers, going, I predict that Bran will sit on the throne. I'm like, dude,
yeah.
Come on. I screen capped some of them. I'll try to find them. I was like, God, don't act like you didn't read the spoilers.
Liars. There would have been no reason whatsoever to think that Bran would wind up on the goddamn throne. Just absolutely none. And then they did it in the most boring way possible, having Tyrion lecture while he's in chains. Lecture the people that are basically sitting in judgment over him and propose Bran. And then they all say, yeah, because he tells stories or something.
Yep.
Never heard him tell a story, actually. He just sits there and gazes into the distance. He knows stories. He doesn't talk about them.
Oh, God. Okay, stop what you're doing and read this article about Game of Thrones and why men fear powerful women. So this line of that men fear powerful women is this narrative that keeps up. But yeah, basically the article was written yesterday. So nothing on that, her being fridged, but there is a dumber article from Mary Sue that says, things we saw today, 1 million people signed a petition to remake Game of Thrones, have no idea how television works. So they're taking it literally. They think we actually literally think the season's going to get remade.
Yeah, somebody on Twitter was giving me shit about that, and I explained to them that it was a symbolic gesture of protest that was designed to shame them and to publicly communicate to them in a way they cannot mistake that they have screwed the pooch on this show.
So yeah, there's a term for people who take things too literally, and it's just like symbolism. Yeah, but you're the Mary Sue. You're all about symbolism, but oh well. Yeah, it's not there yet. But you never know. We've always got till tomorrow. Lord Lovecraft, so awkward when your nephew is going to hug you and you suddenly feel something hard poking you. I'd have died too, be fair. Super chat of the night goes to Lord Lovecraft, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, that was good.
Yes. Just a little prick. It'll be over in a minute.
Oh my God. Jesus Christ. All right. We're gonna do a few more here, folks. I'm gonna have to yeah, man, I gotta cut it. We could go all night. Star Wars Episode 8 sucks. Game of Thrones Season 8 sucks. It's an infinite Ouroboros of unending nonsense. Star Wars overlapping with Game of Thrones is in the worst possible way. Yep. Oh, and it's going to continue. It's like reciprocal. It's circular. What's going on here? It's like a cluster. It's like the dragon eating its own head, except it's a draga eating a bantha, eating a, I think, yeah, sandworm. Yeah, I think this is the ending George R. R. Martin intended, but Dave and Dave screwed the path so hard they destroyed the show doing it. Execution was poor. Execution was poor. The story was good. Spartius 94. That remains to be seen. I think George would come. Yeah, it's the path. That's what we're trying to talk. What we're talking about here. And if I was Dan and Dave, I would have ended the show different. Why not end the show different?
Yeah.
Why does it need to end like the books?
Yeah, absolutely, dude. If they were going to be that disrespectful, then go your own way. If you have a better idea, show him up, for God's sakes. But they didn't. They didn't give a thought to this. I really don't think so, dude. Do you?
No. They just realized that there was a point where they got season 7 came out and they're like, man, they bought that Gendry running to the wall and back and then sending a raven down to like 5,000 miles or 3,000 miles. That would have taken it 5 days at top speed, flying constantly just to get one way. They bought that. So let's write season 8 on the yacht. We'll get a big bag of Coke and we'll write it in one night. Let's go, bro. That was my fictional story of Dan and Dave writing season 8.
Yes, satire, mere satire.
Yes. Are you talking to callers? Frederick Godzilla Menken, Canadian $10. Hang on a second. Okay. Modern Vintage 31. Thank you for the 10 Canadian dollars, by the way, Frederick. Modern Vintage 31, $1.99. This made me want to gouge my eyes out. All you had to do was ask the mountain, and he would have done it for you. Yeah, Oberyn got off easy, by the way. He really did. Season made no sense. Plot armor to bad writing. Tim Bull, $1.99. Yes, it was Bull, Tim. Matter R 678 $5. You should really watch and review The Last Kingdom on Netflix. Everybody's telling me that.
Yeah, people have said that's really good, Gary. I'm gonna check it out.
Definitely. Frack, I'm gonna go Frack HBO. I'm gonna binge Space 1999 to recover. Leslie Russell, $1.99. Yes, I am actually going to fire up Lord of the Rings. Yeah, I got some work to do, but I'm gonna have it on in the background.
Nice.
I feel the ending would have worked given 2 or 3 more seasons. The thing with Arya really made no sense. She's never showed any interest in becoming Christopher Columbus all of a sudden. They took it from the books. They actually mentioned it in the books. I thought I kind of think Arya is going to die in the books, but that's me. Cody White, thank you for the $10. Jim, and yes, I think they extended. I think it's really obvious that Arya is going to die because they really extended out her stuff. I mean, I could be wrong, but she just was used. So was John. So I don't know. It might not be a good argument. Jim Samples, $5. Swear to God, once they activated the damn CERN, everything turned ass backwards. That's what I'm talking about. It was CERN. CERN we're in another dimension where where subverted expectations and little weenie bags rule Hollywood right now. But yeah.
A little topic for the Exozone.
Yep. Take my money and develop sliding tech, says Scott Williams. Okay. Thank you. Well, we'll get on it. That was talking back the dimensional tech. Oh, absolutely. Way behind. The Butcher, Canadian $2. Reason they chose Bran, he became his own throne. Oh my Lord, that's bad. All right. While I read some more super chats, I'm just gonna, since we don't have to worry about spoilers anymore, I'm gonna get get the free float going here. And I'll read a couple more. We're gonna go 5 more minutes. Then I gotta go.